Hey, artsy friends, welcome to my third composition notebook art journal. This is a glow journal. This is where I take a cheap composition notebook and turn it into a beautiful art journal. And I have already prepared the pages with collage. So this page that I am doing right here today has been prepared with the wrappers from my tea. I pulled some colors out that I thought would kind of come close to matching the colors that are already on the page, and then I'm just gonna kind of experiment with mixing and seeing if I can get pretty close. And I'm an intuitive artist, so I don't really have much of a plan. This red is like very, if I was gonna be doing something like creepy with blood, this would look like blood. Maybe I shouldn't put that idea in your head. It's not blood. It's tea bag red. And now I'm playing with orange, and the orange I had needed a little bit more yellow to go. And I'm going over the tea bag, so it doesn't even really matter if they match it or not. I'm just kind of playing around with mixing colors because it's fun. And sometimes I forget that you can do that. Like, you can go buy every color imaginable that's already pre-made in acrylic paints, or you can play around and mix some of your own colors. You could just start with primary colors and make just about any, I think technically you can make any color that exists just out of your primary colors and blacks and whites to tint and shade. So I'm just laying down a layer of paint, and then I thought, maybe I'll grab a stencil, and I stenciled some yellow over, and you can barely see it. It actually looks almost like gold over the red, which I kind of liked. So that's my next layer. Sometimes when you're doing this, you look at it and go, all right, well, that's really not adding a whole lot to the page. I thought maybe I would try a different stencil, and that also was not really doing anything. So then I got out some black. My sponge just kind of made it a little bit too transparent, so I got my brush out here so I could thicken it up and make a nice circle. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing with this page at this point, but sometimes the amount of paint that you have on your palette will help guide and steer, because I had a little bit of black left on the palette. I just made some more black marks. And I have some favorite colors of my Posca markers, so occasionally I like to challenge myself to just kind of grab all the colors that I don't always use. And even if I don't even know if they go well together, the combination, I'm just going to try to use a lot of color on this page just for fun, because I can. And something else about the intuitive process, very often you start off like kind of hating it. I try not to even judge it or form an opinion early on, because sometimes, like at this point, I'm just like, what am I doing, and what are these colors, and just what's going on? There's nothing really taking shape yet. I don't love it yet, but I don't hate it. I'm just, like I said, I just try not to judge the process while you're in the middle of it. And I think it's actually kind of fun to take a page that you're not loving and just keep going until you do. And someone reminded me once that you can, especially with acrylic paint, you can always paint over whatever you don't like. So if there's some little mark making that you don't like, then paint over it. But I find that even as I go, if I'm like, I don't even, really know where this is going, usually by the end, I'm happy with it. So, and I had fun doing it. So that's really, for me, is almost more important than what the finished product looks like. I mean, I do like to look at the finished product and go, oh, that's fun. That's cool. Whatever. That's pretty. But yeah, it's therapy for me to just zone out while I am being creative. So, I just thought of some philosophical advice while I'm watching this process and thinking about the intuitive process. And that is just focusing on the next step. And I think that that can apply to so many things in life. I am trying to get a business started again. And I can get overwhelmed by like how much there is to do in like the overall big picture. But if I just think, okay, what do I have to do today? What's the next step, the next thing that I have to do? And so it's kind of like that when I'm doing art here, and not overthinking it, but just thinking about what's the next step. So not really planning too much, just picking up another color, like whatever color just, kind of calls to you. And then playing around all over the page wherever it, I don't like to sound too like, I don't know, like the colors are talking to you or anything, but you just naturally can say, oh, like I like the pink with this green, and okay. And then you just move it around the page. But okay, so while I was just sharing that, I wrote my quote, and I had fun picking different colors for each letter. Yes, I know right now the quote just kind of gets lost on the background, so I am going to go outline it, which will help it stand out a little more clearly, but I'm just making sure it's all dry before I do that. But my quote is, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. So I love that. So I have always enjoyed teaching kids art, or not really necessarily even teaching, but just watching them be creative, watching them color and draw and paint and play and all that, just that, especially that inhibition, that just carefreeness. And then so often they're just like so proud of what they made. Isn't it wonderful? And they'll explain their picture and everything. And it's especially with your own kids, just watching them create is so cool. So I think that is how God looks at us when we are exercising our creativity, because it is a reflection of who he made us to be, whether it's visual arts or music or cooking or dancing or business even. I mean, there's just so many ways to be creative. Creative is like problem solving, and I don't know. I just think it's fun as a parent to watch that, and I think that's how he looks at us. So one little rule for this journal is that I have to have something glowing on every page. So I'm just going to finish out this page using my glow under the blacklight paints. So just putting some orange dots, filling in some of the little negative spaces that are left on the page. And then I'll pull out my pink bottle in just a minute and go over in some of the white areas. So we are really close to the end of the page. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I hope that you are inspired to go make some art, to be creative, to follow your intuition and just have some fun. And I hope that you will come back and hang out with me again. And until then, have a super blessed day. And hang on till the end where I will show you a little bit of the finished product and the glow effect under the black light. See you next time.